everybody, it's Natalie with Missouri Star Quilt Company, and today on Sewing 101 we're going to talk about your 1/4 inch seam. In patterns you'll often see use a 1/4 inch seam or use a scant 1/4 inch seam, and scant just means that it's less than or smaller than. So a scant 1/4 inch is just a tiny bit smaller than a regular 1/4 inch. And so I've sewn these. One is a regular 1/4 inch and one is a scant, so you can see the difference. So this one here is a regular 1/4 inch. You see that it lines right up with the middle of the line on the ruler. And this one, if we flip it over, this one is scant. And if you look closely, you can see that it's just on the inside line of the ruler. So it's just going to be a tiny bit. It's almost like a thread or a seam width. It's very, very, very tiny. Smaller than the regular 1/4 inch. So the most important thing about your seam allowance is that they're consistent, that they're all the same throughout your quilt. So just work on consistency and whatever that means for you. Mom likes to say that your 1/4 inch seam is like a fingerprint, that they're all different, everyone's unique. But you will notice as you're sewing, and especially with smaller pieces, that if your seams are too big or too small, that they will change significantly the size of your blocks and the size of your finished quilt. And if they're not the same throughout the whole quilt, you may end up with a block that's 12 inches and one that's 11 3/4 or something like that, and that will lead you to needing to square things, or maybe taking smaller seams or taking some seams out and making them larger, whatever works for you to fix your quilt. So just keep in mind that the seams in your quilt need to be consistent for you, and that scant just means a little bit smaller than you normally sew, and it usually matters most in tiny piecing, smaller quilts, triangles, things like that. That's where you'll really need to pay attention to that, but typically the most important thing is consistency. So I hope that helps with a little bit of information about 1/4 inch seams.